folks, let's take a look at this week's internet weather. These are the top 10 most probe ports for the last week. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of movers and shakers. In fact, only 2 of the top 10 have moved. So I'll just rattle them off quickly here. In first place is 23 TCP, which is Telnet. And actually, that's a remarkably small slice of the pie now that I look at it. I'm used to Telnet being much, much bigger. Second place is 445 TCP, that is SMB. Probably some leftover WannaCry scanning or somebody else trying to exploit the same vulnerabilities. Third place is 80 ICMP, that's ping. 22 TCP is SSH. 80 TCP is plain old web. 443 TCP is HTTPS. 81 TCP is another alternate web port. Sometimes we see that with certain IoT devices. 8080 TCP is another web port. Again, sometimes IoT, a lot of times you'll see proxies on that port as well. That's up by 1. And in 10th place, somehow coming out of nowhere with a change of 14 slots, is 5555. That's from Android Remote Debug Bridge. So that one we'll be looking a little closer at.
That 5555 is always up and down, seems like.
Oh, it's a good one, too. I mean, these are people who are putting Android devices right on the internet. I think a lot of them, when we looked at it a while back, were things like rooted Android television devices or Amazon Fire Sticks, things like that.
Yeah, a lot of set-top boxes, anything that runs Android, because it's susceptible to ADB vulnerabilities. There's a lot of devices that you don't realize are Android.
Well, also, people will try and root them themselves and then not close up the remote port, and somehow they'll get on the internet. So we're taking a look now at the most sources probing, the top 10 of those, and you'll see that 445 is in the top. Telnet 23 TCP has moved up by 3, is in second place. 8291 is one of several ports associated with Microtic routers. 22 TCP is after that, then 80. 8728, I believe, is also related to Mikrotik. 1433, 8080 are ones we've seen before. 53 UDP is DNS. Typically, you see scanning for that when people are looking to amplify when people were looking to amplify DDoS attacks. And then 80 ICMP is ping is in 10th place. So taking a look at the scan sources on port 23 TCP Telnet, fairly stable over the last 15 days. It seems that we probably hit a peak and a valley when we measured it, and that's why it seems to have gone up by 3. But ultimately, it really has not been that much of a change. So still one of the heavy hitters on the internet in terms of both sources and scanning power. So like I said, Telnet really didn't change that much. So why did it move so much? Well, it turns out the numbers around it moved. This Microtik router, we did see some scanning for this starting around the end of June. And it was a significant one. It bumped it up a few slots. And you can see its return not quite to the levels that we saw before, but certainly nowhere near the number of scan sources that we had been seeing about 2 weeks ago. So to me, that says that that's why the shift happened, not necessarily because Telnet exploded out of nowhere, but because the contending ports just sort of dropped off the list. And we're taking a look again at 5555 Remote Debug Bridge for Android. You can see some regular scanning. There's a consistent floor of scanning devices, and you can see it sort of ramping up slowly. That could be because the botnet that's scanning for it is growing. You also see some singular spikes along this. So that's probably either some sort of internet census or regular scanning on a schedule as opposed to consistent scanning by something that's looking to infect.
Yeah, it does look like it's almost a periodic.
Yeah, it's not exactly every 24 hours, but like give or take a couple hours, it's pretty close.
Just curious, is there any new vulnerability out for the Microtik routers, which would explain?
No, there are no new ones. There have been, I think there was one maybe a year ago. I did a little research on this for a previous episode. But no, I don't know of any brand new ones. I just think that there are enough of them out there that haven't been patched or reconfigured to prevent it.
Right.
Yeah. And the interesting thing about the Microtik scanning is that they're scanning one port to get a certain fingerprint to say that, yes, this is a Microtik router, and they're pivoting to a completely different one and exploiting that.